Unless you've been living under a rock, you'll notice that all around us, the world is erupting into chaos. Creepy and unexplainable things are happening with some defying logic. And today, we're exploring moments when these disturbances were caught on camera.
Pelo que eu percebi, ele só agora que ele já tá se pondo lá atrás das montanhas.
This clip captured a strange event in China, where a gigantic smoky cloud appeared in the sky with a trail of bright orange lights in the middle. As there was no other explanation for it, onlookers were left wondering if it could be a spaceship or a UFO. Scared locals avoided getting out of their houses and thought the ship might be out looking to abduct people. There have been many mysterious sightings in the sky, but nothing like this. A UFO? Some secret project, or something really scary. The truth is still out there. Star glitch. While taking pictures in the empty Nevada desert, a tourist saw something strange, a bright, glowing object floating in the sky. At first, they thought it might just be their camera playing tricks, but then they noticed something interesting. The object was making a shadow on the ground below. This shadow meant the glowing thing wasn't just a flash of light, it was something real that could block the sun. People who saw the clip had different ideas about what it could be. Some think it might be an angel or something holy. Others just call it a mystery that no one can explain. Blood sun.
Pelo que eu percebi, ele só agora que ele já tá se pondo lá atrás das montanhas.
We all have different shades of sun during a sunset, but when locals in Santa Catarina saw this reddish-orange sun on the horizon, they were left scared. As the sky was still bright, this shade of sun left many thinking it was a fulfilled prophecy.
Mas parece ser montagem.
Said to appear when the end of the world is near. Locals said they hadn't seen anything like that before, which made the sight all the more strange. But there hadn't been any world-ending commotion, so we'll have to see.
Olha lá como ele tá. Ah, que pena que ele tá indo embora agora. Olha como ele tá ficando bonito lá.
Fiery sky.
You must go far away.
Sick of hearing weird sounds outside and a smell like something was burning, a guy walked out of his house. He couldn't believe his eyes. The night sky was glowing bright yellow. He grabbed his phone and started filming. As he zoomed in closer, there were round objects that looked like they were on fire, leaving strange wavy smoke trails behind them. Confused by what he saw, he shared the video online, and folks had all sorts of ideas about what it could be. Some thought aliens were visiting Earth, while others guessed it might be a secret space mission. But with no one stepping forward to explain what really happened, the mystery remained.
The phone doesn't even do it justice of what we're seeing.
Yellow glow. A man was out in the field when he accidentally recorded what has been a mystery ever since it was posted online. In the almost calm field, suddenly a bright yellow glow emerged from the cloud and lit up the ground. The guy who recorded the clip at first thought it might be from some craft up in the sky, but as the sky was empty, the guy was scared thinking what might be up there. Otherworldly intervention or something else. The jury's still out on this one. Dementor's kiss. Grotesque and terrifying, this cloudy object floated in the air as if it was watching mankind from above. Now, while you're all probably quickly going to dub this a cloud or a smoke, hold your horses. Let's take a short trip to the wizarding world, where we all know about a certain creature. The Dementor? I know they're not real. Or is that what Muggles want us to think? If you seriously put your mind to it, you'll notice that this rather curiously resembles a Dementor, does it not? Cloudless shadow.
You guys see that shadow? Where?
Next up, we have this clip that will leave you questioning your reality. A walked out of his house and saw this giant shadow cast over the mountain. You'll think, A normal shadow, nothing strange. But the thing is, there was nothing over the mountain, not even a speck of cloud. So where was that shadow coming from? The question bugged many people. Some said there might be a giant spaceship hidden in the sky with advanced technology. Others chalked it up to a simple glitch. What do you think it is?
Where are the clouds?
Triangle in the sky. A guy was driving by the San Jacinto Peak in Southern California when he noticed something unbelievable. Up there in the sky, there was a triangular-shaped object that seemed to be hovering. Recording the clip, he posted it on the internet, showing everyone the mysterious sight. And the clip started an unexpected frenzy online. Turns out, the region was famous for such inexplicable sightings. And not only that, there have been different cases of people going missing. Back in 2020, a series of these bizarre sightings happened, and there has been no explanation for it. To this day, are aliens really involved in these disappearances, or something else is happening that we are unaware of? Saucer. You must have seen saucers zipping through our skies. Now, have a look at this one. That looked like an upside-down saucer. Someone recorded slowly moving in the sky. And is it just me, or does it look like the object is descending down?
Un objeto volador.
Many thought it looked like an upside-down umbrella, but whatever it is, I'm curious why it is there. Is it some device to keep our planet connected to another universe? Or all these objects signal that life outside of the planet does exist?
Un objeto volador.
Giant in the sky. Recorded in the sky of Ontario, Canada, this clip showed a strange object drifting through the sky. And the way it was moving at high speed without changing direction, it looked like it wasn't its first rodeo. Was it some guy on his super-powered hoverboard? Or could it be something out of this world? Well, as there has been no official word on it, I'll let you be the judge of that. Celestial rings. First up, we have this clip that features a bunch of strange smoke rings in the sky, not moving an inch. The rings were eerily still in the sky. As the clip was posted online, netizens came up with a lot of theories. Some said it might be left behind by a UFO, others suggested it could be from a mountain, like the ones from Mount Etna in Italy. So, what could it be? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Jetpack Man. Now let's have a look at what a flight passenger captured from their window. A mysterious humanoid figure spotted flying at a surprising height of 3,000 feet. This video got a lot of attention online. Online folks suggested it might be a flying jetpack. But a jetpack this high is rare since they are usually operated much closer to the ground. The exact location of the jetpack flight remained unknown, leaving people to speculate if something else was at play here. Some even went ahead saying it might be an alien technology trying to keep an eye on us. The Animalan. In Mapuche mythology, Animalan are mystical beings that resemble small children, but can also change into bright, glowing spheres of fire. These fiery orbs light up the night and are believed to possess magical abilities tied to their shape-shifting nature. Now, while our days of believing in myths are gone, you can't help but wonder, what if the Animalan are real? When you look at this mystery walker, you just know this isn't some electricity orb or something natural. This is clearly supernatural. And this is proof that the world is filled with mysteries. Heldom. It's never a good look when the earth begins to glow. But when it glows this ominously in a lagoon, how do you convince yourself that this isn't some creepy sight? If we think about it, our lagoons might just be the perfect spot for something, say like an alien base, to hide. The fact that it happened to be discovered by a lost explorer really sets in the tone. Kind of like how it wasn't supposed to be discovered.
pero está como caliente.
But when you're sleeping tonight, maybe have this food for thought. What are extraterrestrials up to? Bright light. While driving down Houston, Texas, a woman became witness to this creepy phenomenon. After seeing a strange glow in the sky, she got her camera and started recording. As the camera zoomed in, the glow turned into this strange shape. It didn't look like anything in specific, just a glowing shape in the sky. As it stayed still up there, it looked more and more eerie. People online said it could be a sign extraterrestrials were sending to their agents on Earth. Skeptics, however, were a little different, thinking it might be a holographic image. But what is it supposed to be? Landing UFOs. In this time-lapse video recorded from a road somewhere in India, the camera left propped on a roadside captured an array of bright lights, seemingly descending to the ground. Locals have been noticing these strange lights for a while now. This clip showed how these were coming down in hordes. The first thing that came to mind was that these were alien ships. Now the question is, if they've been coming down like this, where are they staying and what are they up to? As there had been no word from the authorities about the bizarre sight, it keeps people up at night scared for their safety. Octopus UFO. Remember the Octopus UFO we saw earlier? This bizarre floating object was sighted once again with a dark, round head, long dangling parts that look like legs, and a body shaped like an octopus. That's definitely not a typical sight in the sky. This strange creature was spotted flying over North Korea, and then people in Central California reported seeing almost the exact same thing. Many folks said it looked like the robotic sentinels from the Matrix movies because it looked so similar to those sci-fi villains. The sightings left everyone scratching their heads, as no one could explain what these floating things were. What do you think might be behind these eerie appearances in our skies? Floaters Enigma. Isn't it weird how spotting anomalies in the sky is our new normal? Any other day, if you saw this, you'd freak out. But considering how it's becoming more and more common to see things like this, I'd say we've pretty much accommodated ourselves to seeing UFOs. Speaking of which, that's what it's got to be, right? It can't not be a UFO, and here's the proof. If it were a shopping bag or anything else that could be drifted against the wind, it wouldn't have flown like that now, would it? Discoidal Trouble. Hovering ominously over Culiacan, Sinaloa, Mexico, this discoidal object turned heads with its appearance. It was clear as day. Nothing and nobody could deny its identity as a UFO. And honestly, even if you did try, you'd make no sense, because what else could it even be? The thing is, this isn't even as shocking as you'd imagine. We're getting closer and closer to seeing aliens actually pop out of UFOs day by day. So the bigger question is, why here and why now? What on earth could aliens possibly want from a place as introverted as Culiacan? Flashes. This clip going around online has left netizens confused. A guy saw strange flashes in the sky, hidden behind the dark clouds. After a while, the flashes became brighter. When people noticed that the flashes weren't because of bad weather, they thought it must be due to some object hiding in the clouds. An alien spaceship, a drone, or something we've yet to discover. Peruvian UFO. In the city of Lima, Peru, something strange lit up the night sky above Santiago de Surco. People watched in shock as a bright object hung in the air, sending down a beam of light. But that wasn't all. After glowing for a while, the object started to flash. Then, something even more bizarre happened. The orb of light disappeared and was replaced by a circle of light. Many who saw it said it looked just like a portal from sci-fi movies. The sighting left people conflicted. Some were convinced they had seen advanced technology that wasn't from Earth. Others had simpler explanations, saying it was probably just a fancy drone, or maybe someone playing a trick with lights. Rushy Sky. Have you ever looked up to the sky and saw something that you couldn't make sense of? Well, something like this happened with a guy who saw this up in the heavens. A whole bunch of lights were blinking in the sky. Red, blue, and white lights blinked clear as day. Locals saw this and thought extraterrestrials were again up to something. Netizens speculated that it might be some military object up in the sky for surveillance. But for now, there's been no confirmation on any of the claims. Waves of envy. When the ocean begins to pick up this color, you know things aren't exactly looking up. Now I don't know what's going on here. Perhaps this is some sort of industrial incident, or something much, much sinister. But it didn't make the news. And these aren't the only theories going around. You see, some UFO enthusiasts believe this was actually emitted by a crashed aircraft. I don't know to what extent that's true, but it's certainly an interesting theory. Maybe you've got a better idea of what this is? The mysterious tunnel. What you're about to see happened back in 2018 in Medellin, Colombia, and yet, its mystery still goes unsolved. You see, in a transit tunnel, locals noticed something was off. Initially assuming it was just a malfunctioning light that kept fluctuating, they knew they were dealing with something truly beyond their understanding. Focus on the back, and you'll see that it really looks like some sort of shield that keeps appearing. This is exactly why most are convinced this was actually some sort of portal opening. But since this never happened again, there's been zero confirmation. UFO Cloud. Driving his car, a guy saw this gigantic white cloud hanging up there. When the clip went viral, people thought this saucer shape was actually a UFO. And to be honest, it does look like a saucer spaceship. But the truth came out when someone revealed that it was a lenticular cloud, a type of cloud famous for their unusual shapes that looks eerily similar to a UFO. It's crazy to see how nature works in mysterious ways. Mysterious phenomenon.
No, it's moving too slow for a shooting star.
While out on a nighttime walk around the neighborhood, this man in Oklahoma witnessed this bizarre sight in the sky. A bright light shined bright in the night sky, but that wasn't all. A strange ring appeared beside it. Not gonna lie, it looks like the light emerged out of that ring portal. At first, people thought it might be a SpaceX launch, but when it didn't align, another theory emerged that it might be related to some secret Air Force missions. But with no word from them, the object's identity has remained a mystery.
Oh, wow. That's a UFO! Look, it's separating from itself.
Flying humanoid.
Look at that! I'm trying to figure out what it is.
A hiking trip took a strange turn when a humanoid figure was seen hovering high in the Swiss skies. In the mountain town of Kandersteg, a group encountered a humanoid form silently hanging above the alpine peaks. They managed to capture footage of the figure and shared it online, and the internet erupted with countless theories. Some suggested an adventurous human with extraordinary abilities, while others thought it was a visitor from beyond our world. Even with a lot of speculation, the true nature of the floating figure remains unexplained.
Look at that! I'm trying to figure out what it is.
Mystery object. A guy recorded this odd-looking thing drifting through the sky somewhere in Canada. I don't know about you, but to me, it looks like an otherworldly object. I mean, have you seen a drone or anything else that looks like this? Netizens online have been saying the same thing, that it's definitely alien-related. Skeptics, however, have dismissed the clip as a hoax. Could this really be a UFO, or just something to scare the public? Let me know your take on this. Bogota Beam Project. Locals in Bogota, Colombia were in for quite a surprise when they looked up to the sky and saw this. The cloudy night sky was featuring an odd blue glow cloaked behind the clouds. As it blinked and shined, people thought it was something not of this world. And I think, if this is real, then we've got some problems. It's crazy how often we see sights like this, and there's been no explanation about it whatsoever. These clips cause a buzz online for a few days, and then disappear into the pile of mysterious, unexplained sightings. Blinking UFO. A group driving down a road came across a very strange sight in the sky. An object seemed to be floating away in the sky. It looked like a kite with long fringes flowing in the air. That wasn't all. A couple days later, a similar object was sighted again. However, this time, there were bright lights flashing throughout it. Just like you and me, the guys seeing the object had no idea what they were seeing. Some suggested it looked like an octopus flying. Others thought it could be aliens tricking us with a new spaceship. Well, apart from alien objects, it could also be a weather balloon, but for now, its true nature remains unidentified. Rural nightmare. In the quiet hills of rural England, a woman found herself staring at something she couldn't quite believe. Something huge, just hanging there in the night sky. At first, she figured it was a heavy storm cloud, or maybe a plane passing by. But as it got closer, she realized it was neither. The shape was enormous, stretching over the horizon like a massive, dark ship, with outlines that were strangely sharp. It drifted silently, solid and clear, too real to brush off as just her imagination. Astronomer's plight. On June 9th, 2021, an astronomy fan noticed something strange on the International Space Station's cameras. A large, unidentified object moving steadily across Earth's surface. Now, while it's certainly not unusual, considering there's a lot of space debris floating up there, this was clearly something different. The unexpected sighting caught people's attention, leaving many wondering what the object could be. Was it a hidden spacecraft, an unusual natural event, or something entirely unknown? Honestly, the jury's still out, and that makes it much more creepier than it needs to be. Verde's mystery. As a bunch of locals drove back home in Palo Verde, California, they noticed an unusual craft flying just ahead. Now we're all quick to chalk this one off as just a plane.
Oh my god.
Turn them on the other light. Going on the one light now.
But here's why that's not the case. 1. The craft was flying way too low. This was filmed on State Route 78, which means there's not a lot of room for an airplane to be taking such risks. 2. The craft seemed to have transformed into a smaller or more uniform craft at some point, which we all know isn't possible for a man-made aircraft. At least as we know. So I guess UFOs are becoming way too careless now. The Greys. A fascinating theory about gray aliens is that they might actually be distant future versions of humans. Some believe that over thousands of years, humans could evolve to look like them. Smaller bodies, bigger heads, and large eyes. This change could happen if we rely more on technology and mental skills rather than physical strength. So these aliens might not be visitors from space, but a glimpse of what we might look like one day, which, if you look at this UFO mysteriously landing in the middle of nowhere, gives you something to think about. What if the Greys are already here? Portal trouble. What if you looked up to the sky and spotted a gateway to another dimension? No, I'm not pulling your legs. Take a look at this and try to convince me this isn't a portal to oblivion. Sure, some volcanoes form rings like that, but they don't glow, do they? Unlike this one, visible from afar, as if it was purposely illuminated to keep in sight of whoever or whatever wants to cross through. Speaking of which, since this was spotted over in New England, many are wondering if creepy creatures have already started infiltrating us. The Ghost Riders. If you've seen Teen Wolf, you probably remember the Ghost Riders. Those haunting figures riding across the sky. Most of us thought they were pure fantasy, but after a recent unsettling sighting in the clouds, it's hard not to wonder. People reported seeing shadowy figures on horseback, silently moving through the sky, leaving everyone watching frozen in place. The video cuts off suddenly, so we're left in the dark about what came next, or even where it happened. But whatever it was, It's safe to say no one wanted to stick around to find out. Luminous Humanoid. Crane your neck a little harder and squint those eyes, and you'll see there's something unusual going on in the sky. And no, this isn't a cloud like you think. It's actually a humanoid being, masking itself behind the sky to stay as covered as possible. Now many think this could be an angel. We don't really know what they look like up close, so maybe they disguise themselves as humanoids to blend in. Or maybe this is a humanoid from a separate dimension, and the reason it appears 2D to us is because it's still partly in the 4th dimension. Lots to think about, isn't it? Warpology. Appearing for a short few seconds, this mystery object drove locals in China mad, wondering what on earth could it be. The scariest part is that this weird object was actually seen in various cities across China, but it somehow didn't show up on cameras. Only one was able to capture it, and that too, quite poorly. So we've only got our imagination to wonder what this could be. If it really is a craft, like how most netizens are theorizing, it's got to be equipped with some advanced technology that just warps every camera possible to avoid detection. Ocean UFO. We all know how 95% of the ocean is unexplored, but that's about the inside of it. What if the ocean's hiding secrets on the surface too? If you think about it, if there's one place on Earth that truly could avoid detection, it's the ocean, because, well, what are the chances you're going to run into something familiar there? Which might explain this: a massive UFO hovering creepily over the water. It is said that this UFO was captured by a lost sailor, who soon refused to give out any details, which really makes you wonder what happened to him. Glauer's Dream. This sight is so unrealistic, you'd think you're dreaming. But as the waves surrounded the sea creature, it glowed brightly, as if illuminated by the stars themselves. When this video first took over the internet, netizens were sure this was some ancient sea creature, or even a mythical one. There were even rumors about this being some sort of mermaid. After all, the sea is vastly unexplored. But is that really what's going on here? Not really. This is simply a dolphin swimming through bioluminescent waters, and making quite the waves. Laser's End. In August 2024, Texans awoke in the middle of the night to something seriously mysterious hovering over their homes. There in the darkness was a bright red object, emitting a laser-like beam from all ends, as if scanning the neighborhood below. If that wasn't terrifying enough, the sky rumbled, but it was clearly not the weather. Now some do say this could be one of those elaborate weather-controlling schemes by the government. But since there weren't any dramatic changes in the weather, this theory fell out. What do you think this could be? Green Lantern. As 2023 came to an end, something peculiar took over the skies in Hawaii. There, in the dark, right over the sea, appeared bright green streaks in a weird succession. Appearing every few seconds, they remained airborne for at least a couple of minutes before vanishing. The creepiest part was the bright orb in between. What if that was the source? Weirdly, nobody noticed this was going on. They only did when they watched what this CCTV captured. And honestly, if you went in for some shut-eye and this happened, who would even want to stay up? ABE. While we think our skies aren't really that mysterious, this sighting is proving otherwise. Spotted by a local just outside his home, this weird entity was seen floating for quite a while before it eventually took its leave. Now the thing is, some say this could be a drone with a cloth strapped onto it, but eyewitnesses swear up and down that isn't the case. Some liken it to the Dementor, though I don't really think that's possible. Of course, we've got the possibility of it being an aerospace biological entity, perhaps a living being we've yet to identify. gradual drop. From afar, you'd think this is just an amusement park ride, but nope, that's not really what that is. You could say it's a plane, but since when do those aircrafts land like that? We're actually left with the option of believing this is something else, and with all that's going around, who's to say this isn't some sort of alien spacecraft? This happened a couple of weeks ago in Palmdale and Lancaster, California, so we at least know this wasn't specific to one location, but several. Really makes you question things, doesn't it? And now, let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day. You won't believe what one tourist managed to grab when they headed to a beach. There, as the clouds arose and the air promised an unexpected rumble, something unusual passed by. It happened so quickly, no one batted an eye save for the one guy who'd seen it happening and even managed to capture it on camera. Now, nobody's denying this isn't a UFO, but what's crazy is the speed. Most UFOs that we see hover for a while before gradually going away, but this one was estimated to be speeding away at about 2,000 miles per hour. That's too fast to say this isn't a UFO. Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like it and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos.